In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a very important topic, which is how do you go ahead and not only deal with interview rejection in tech, but also how do you bounce back from being rejected from interviews while you're navigating a very chaotic tech hiring market. And this is actually straight out, like I'm recording this right now. I have no lavalier mic on. Maybe I should, but I just thought I really wanted to go out there and share this because I just came fresh off of a coaching call, and getting rejected out there sucks. And I really wanted to go out there and try to, while this information is still all fresh in my head. A lot of people thought that this past coaching call, even though it did not come from a good place, because somebody just got in a very brutal rejection, which was they were at the offer stage, and unfortunately that offer got pulled from them, and it's tough. I want to go ahead and help y'all bounce back, come back stronger than ever so you can lock down this job. Because when your confidence and your mental health, which is something that we're not talking about enough of in job hunting in this market, when it's taking such a beating, you're stuck in the worst place ever, which is you emotionally cannot bring yourself to apply and job hunt anymore. But logically speaking, you have to. And you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because it's like you'll have some of your friends or even yourself or your significant other tell you, why don't you just take a day off from job hunting? Why don't you take a few days off? Why don't you go ahead and focus on something else? Why don't you just binge Netflix? But you can't fully focus on that, because it's like, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. But when you're job hunting out there, you're just like, it's so hard for you not to tell yourself, like, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit. On top of that, you don't feel like doing anything else. You try to go to the gym to release some steam, and you're shuffling all these different tracks on your Spotify, and you can't bring yourself to do it. So maybe it's like you should meet up with your friends, grab a drink, or maybe you grab a drink on your own, and you're like, oh, you're feeling guilty, maybe I should be job hunting. And then you apply a little bit more, and then it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go out there and do this. And the rejections hurt on so many levels, because job hunting is unfortunately a numbers game. So even if you're getting like the 2, 3, 4, 500 automated rejection email templates out there, they hurt as bad as like the ones where you're extremely vested in, which is you've gone through like an interview process, and the deeper that you're in the interview process, the more vested you are in the interview process. So I want to hope you guys get through it, because this feeling that you're having right now, I want to give out some solutions, because right now it just feels like you're taking punishment. And that's the worst place to be, because you just don't feel like what you're doing matters. Is getting this job that you've wanted to transition to so badly, is it even worth it anymore? Well, logically speaking, you're going to have to see this thing through, because hopping around is not going to help your situation. Like going into like a different job, it's not like any other job in tech. It's just like, it's not like saying like, okay, forget this, maybe I should just be a data scientist, right? It's not like those people are having it any easier than the job that you're going for right now. If we're just being honest, this isn't even just a tech job thing. This is across the board market issue right now. So what are you going to do? Not work and not have money coming into your bank account? You're not going to go ahead and do that. You're too smart for that, right? Like logically, but emotionally, it's hard for you to not feel angry and feel like a victim. And it's hard for you not to want to go out there and post up a message on LinkedIn where you're venting. But logically, you also know complaining about job interviews right now, putting yourself out there like that is not going to help you do a job and not going to help you get a job. But then you're like, Rich, what should I do then? I feel you. So the first thing that I want you to do, it's no sales pitch here. First thing that I want you to do is change what this goal of having this job that you've wanted or needed, what it means to you. by making it more than just getting a job. Because if you're just thinking, I'm doing all this for a job, it's coming from a place of lack. It's coming from a place of need. It's coming from a place of desperation. And it just doesn't feel like you're doing it for yourself. And it feels like you're doing it for somebody else. So even if you get a job, you feel like you're taking it out. You feel like you're taking a loss. You have to remove that from you. And the best way that I've found and I've seen that's worked for a wide range of people is changing this goal from I'm going to get this job so I can feed myself. And honestly speaking, it's like the salary, that dollar figure, it's not like you're not going on Google search and doing some salary searches of like what are the comparables out there. That number just doesn't get you up out of the bed in the morning. It doesn't get you fired up. That's for damn sure, right? You got to change this goal to start thinking about, I'm going to get this job and I'm not going to go ahead and get this job for me. I'm going to get this job because I'm not going to get it because I need a job. I'm going to get this job because I'm going to monetize off of my journey of getting this job. And I'm going to make money from this outside of it. Because if you really think about it, why are you in this situation right now in the first place? Is because you need the money. You feel like, like this feeling that you're having right now of feeling this anger, you're feeling like you're being taken advantage of, you're feeling like you're being used, you feel so freaking powerless, you feel like what you're doing isn't making an impact, it's not even moving the needle, it's not even making a dent. Why are you in this situation right now? Because of money. If you had another 10, 15 G's coming outside of your day job, honestly, you'd tell half of these interviews to go F themselves, right? That's the truth. Some of you wouldn't even be looking for another job right now. That's even being more real. The thing that pisses you off so much is how reliant you are, because that feeling of powerlessness is like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do nothing but eat, white chicken meat, broccoli, and brown rice. And I'm going to do all the workouts. But, I'm just going to keep on doing this and it has no visible impact. It just it's not enough to get you going. So you got to go ahead and make this goal motivating, because I'm going to tell you this. Once you get the job, the pain doesn't stop there. This feeling never ends. Your boss has a bad day, you end up having a bad week. One bad meeting. I read somewhere that one bad meeting where somebody's projecting they're toxic to you for 1 hour can basically massacre as much as 5 business days of productivity. So, your boss or your manager not being able to keep themselves mentally together and not being able to hold their shit could F up 5 of your business days, which you'll have to make up because you still need to drive results. So this feeling of like, oh, I need to get a job and then it'll be over. Like, if we just adopt the mindset that no, actually, this is not going to be over. This bullshit's going to keep on happening. And the only way I'm going to stop this bullshit from keep on happening is if I build my own brand, which I would love to go out there and help you. I will leverage my brand to help promote and build your own, both leveraging my name, but also leveraging my experience, my team, and my resources. Because I don't want people to feel that way. It's a horrible feeling. And we've all been there because we've all needed money. We've all been there. So the first thing is change this goal from doing something that you need to do to doing something that you want to do. You're doing this for you. This is for you. This is for your big picture, because you're never ever going to have to deal with this again. The second thing is make this the last job hunt where you have to gun for the job this hard ever again in your life. There is so many influencers where you're just talking about, not just for this job. You can type in a day in the life of a corporate attorney, a day in the life of a Navy SEAL, a day in the life of this, right? They're all out there. That's actually one of the YouTube titles where you want to drop off to even start your own brand. You want to go ahead and do that, right? There are ways for you to go out there. If other people are monetizing, if there's 19, 20-year-olds out there that's making millions of dollars off of YouTube and TikTok, why can't you? But your ticket to being able to monetize off of that is being able to monetize off of your journey. And if other people can do it, and if other people have done it, and if other people are doing it right now, no reason why you can't do it right now. I always like to let people know this one thing. All the people, all the influencers for this tech vertical that has gotten laid off, they don't make money. They no longer make videos about how difficult it is to get this job because they're not job hunting. Because they made so much money off of the video of them getting laid off. And don't you think it's a coincidence that like when like they got mass layoff, like some of these companies are doing it so unprofessionally, just like on Zoom. Don't you think it's crazy how like they have 4 cameras with the tripods all set up? They pray for that day to happen. They wish for the like, oh yes, thank you. You know what they make videos on right now? I'm taking a cooking class. I'm taking a UX research class. I'm taking a design class. You know, me and my significant other, we're going to Paris to watch the Olympics. That's what they're doing, right? So make this the last job hunt ever, because now you have this end date. It's like if you're climbing up a hill, it's like the kids that are in the back seat. Some of you guys don't have kids. Some of you guys do. They're like, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" There's a Netflix movie where Idris Elba, he talks about raw dogging. You want to know what one of the features, if we're going to talk about tech, one of the features that they implemented on the airplane to keep passengers sane during the airplane ride was that interactive map of letting you know how much farther we have to go before we land. Because there would be people that just went so crazy, and there are people that the raw dogging scene is like he's just watching that thing over. And I find it's hilarious. Like when I'm on a plane, I watch that. So it's like if you have this thing where it's like this is gonna end, right? Because the gratitude stuff, yes, you can say, you know, my problems. In hindsight, it's not too bad. I got a bed, I got a roof, hopefully, over my head. You know, I have enough to eat. I'm going for a job in tech. It's highly coveted. It's a prestigious industry. Eventually, I do know I'm gonna get a job. I mean, it's better than like working so many other crappier jobs out there. But the truth is you just don't feel the gratitude. I mean, you know, like you'll go walking around like, you know, New York where I live is like, oh, you know, thank God. Like some days I have bad days too. Like I'm not working on a construction site, but it's really hard. It's like, man, I just get this job already. You like it's hard for you not to feel that way. You can go out there and visualize and manifest all that you want. And I'm not saying it doesn't work because I do a lot of it, but you also need something. You need something to get you through the day because you know you're going to have to plow out 50 to 100 applications. Even if you're going a very targeted route of sending highly customized resumes and messages, the rejection rate is still 50% and above. Like the average conversion rate from application to interview is still 7 to 10% at best. Even if you sent out 10 very, very customized resumes and very tailored LinkedIn messages, it's not just, I mean, it's sales, right? I mean, interviewing is also a form of sales. Like, it's not like you're not like you're converting like 1 out of 10, because it's also not like you're not converting. It's also when are they going to call you back? It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be a month from now. I have some people that are getting hit up from jobs they applied to last month or the month before, you know, back and forth to July. So that's also a very realistic possibility too. So you need something that's going to be able to get you through the day. I want you to think about it like it's a soundtrack that you use when you go to the gym. Some songs, let's be real, you play it 1 or 2 times, it gets you hyped up, but for whatever reason, it doesn't hit anymore. Some songs you play in the beginning of your workout. Some songs you play in the end of your workout. But in order for you to go ahead and keep yourself mentally sane, is that you need to change this goal from something that you need to do to something that you want to do. It's hard to do something that you don't want to do, even if you need to do it, even if you don't have a job. Like coming from a place of such lack and desperation, it just isn't aligned with your values. You know, so you need to go ahead and change it to like, okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to get on that. I want to do that. Versus like, I got to do this. Like if you're thinking about like, I got to do this presentation for this interview, or I got to do this assignment for this interview, so these jerks can gauge whether I'm good enough to work here, versus like, you're like, I want to collect as many of these presentations, assignments, case studies, whatever, because I want to build a portfolio that I can sell. And like, yeah, like I have people out there that's like, even if I don't make it to that point of the interview with the recruiter, can I at least get it? Because I would just like to just go ahead and have it just to improve my skills. If if you come at it from like the point of like, I'm gonna make money off of this, the journey, I mean, the reason why you're doing it completely changes. I remember when I was a kid too. If I had to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning because I had to go out there and show up to class early because it was some study group, or my parents wanted me to be part of some program, it was hard. But I remember like Saturday morning, I never ever felt tired waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning to watch the best cartoons, and I would just watch it until like 11:30 straight. And I remembered how engaged I was because why? You changed the why. You changed the reason why you're doing it. So don't come from that place of lack. If it does make sense for you, I really want to implore you to just join the community already. Schedule the call. We have some very, very, very accommodating payment plans and payment solutions for y'all. I understand some of you are really hurting out there and you need the job. Call me, LinkedIn me. Let's get you on the community. Let's get you out of here and let's get you monetizing off of your own brand. And let's just remember this. In tech, there is layoffs and people work jobs until they get laid off, and they take some time to go to Cabo or something or Miami, and then they go back on the job hunt. But let's never have yourself in this position ever again. Because the other thing that you're probably wondering is like, if you're not raging up with anger, the other thing that's also not helpful is you're beating yourself down like, oh man, Rich is right. I should have started learning AI or getting a few extra certifications. I should have like leveled up. I should have started my brand earlier. I should have done this. I should have studied harder. You know, all the things that we could have done. When you start thinking about the past, that's when you start really falling into depression, because it's just like, oh, I was being lazy at that time. I was being complacent. This is all my fault. In fact, like, dude, we all mess up sometimes. I mess up a lot of the times. You guys just don't know about it. But if you're also coming from that place too, it's really hard for you to show up to the next interview, because you're going to start thinking about, gosh, maybe I should just get another job. Like, the amount of time it's going to take for you to learn a different set of skills and then start going on the job hunt for that transition. You'd most likely get a job if you just stuck with it, but it's so hard for you to not think that way. Of course you are. You're human. We are wired to conserve resources. It's not because people are lazy. It's because the more resources you conserve, you can't fight biology, you have a better chance of survival if you're aggregating more energy, right? If you're like throwing out energy out there quickly, like you're just thinking like it puts you in a place of such lack. Again, that doesn't put you in a good spot. So all in all said, being defeated and feeling pissed off is not going to help your situation. It's not going to help you apply to more jobs. It's not going to help you feel more pumped up, even when you're getting interviews. And that's just the worst feeling. It's like you're feeling like shit. Either you're feeling extremely pissed off or you're feeling extremely depressed and defeated. And then another company says, we want to interview you. And then you're like trying to rally up the excitement and you can't do it. And they're just wondering what's wrong with you. Like you don't want this job or something. That's also not a good place to go ahead and be in, right? We want you relaxed. We want you in demand. So schedule the call with me. Let's get you involved in the community. Let's make this the last time you ever have to hunt for this job. So make it the last time you're ever in this situation. Because if there's anything that we've learned during the tech layoffs is that you've got to go ahead and bet on yourself. Like trying to do right by the company is largely a one-sided love affair. I don't want anybody in that situation. Sometimes so many companies, they're doing layoffs just because they see other companies doing layoffs when they have no reason doing layoffs at all. So, yeah. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and definitely just reach out, because if you're going through this by yourself, hopefully this video helps, but if you're going through this by yourself, it's just so much tougher. It's so much easier just going through it with other people.